The year was 2024. A girl dancing with a deer went viral. Typlosion was cancelled after some interesting leaks. Some of you are watching this very YouTube video. And the hero of today's tale, Just a Brit Gaming, was about to attend his first ever official Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament. Now, Brit is very much considered a casual player, meaning he had absolutely no interest in playing what was considered meta.
You did not put a Drake meme here, dude. I hate you, Loom.
Or even playing something considered good. He just wanted to play stuff that he enjoyed, which for the most part meant meme decks. For this event, Brit had prepared a very special combination. He decided to bring an
Has anyone else noticed the absolute beef that Ojama Green is packing? Like, that boy is holstering a weapon.
Elemental Hero Ojama deck. Now, for those of you that don't play Yu-Gi-Oh!, this combination of art types isn't actually a thing, as there really isn't any synergy between the two.
Oh, you don't know that?
I guess they both play purple cards? And just for a little bit more context, Ojama as an art type is notoriously bad. The goal of the deck is to summon a bunch of fusion monsters.
What? Hold on. Modern Ojama isn't unplayable, okay? They've had enough support to give it some sort of a strategy to win condition, okay? Those machine fusions that you're supposed to, like, ABC link into or whatever, contact fuse, they're actually not terrible, okay?
Lock out your opponent's zones. Which might sound good in theory.
I don't even think Knight and
the deck yourself,
the other thing is a condition for the deck anymore.
If it went up against the best deck in the format, which was Snake Eye,
win conditions,
the
different
matchup
archetype.
would be if Usain Bolt had a 100-meter sprint against Stephen Hawking. But despite this, Brit didn't care whatsoever, and so he entered the tournament.
Look, dude. If you... Never mind.
With his meme deck. The tournament began, and as expected, Brit was getting completely steamrolled. Round 1. Brit went up against a Memento player, which is an art type that had only just recently been released not too long ago, and was considered to be quite a powerful deck. And that gave his Ojamas a good, solid pounding.
Huh?
Round 2. This time he went up against a Snake Eye player, which, like I mentioned earlier, was the strongest deck around, and so proceeded to completely wipe the floor with his elemental heroes. Round 3. Despite the
O2 record,
beating
strong.
he was receiving, Brit was still in high spirits, as he was just thankful being able to summon out his silly monsters, even if they were immediately getting nuked from existence. But this time he went up against an Earthbound opponent, which...
You know, I'm just like, you know, fun aside or like side note here, but playing a deck to just get stomped over and over again, like it stops being fun after a while, surely, right? Like after a couple of, like, you know, times you put the green on the field and then it just gets instantly popped or something, eventually you must just be like, I don't want to do this anymore, man.
Which is an art type that only recently received
Said the
support
BA
earlier
player,
that
I don't
year.
play it anymore for that reason.
A meta strategy, or even really considered that great, it was still a hell of a lot stronger than the combined forces of Ojama and Elemental Hero. Game 1 begins, and unfortunately, Brit had lost the coin toss, meaning he was to go second, which meant, once again, he got his ass handed to him,
Master
without
Duel
landing a
players
single blow to his opponent's life
calling it
points,
coin
as
toss.
he's just unable to get through the sheer wall of synchro monsters in front of him. So we move on to Game 2. And this is where things get interesting. Now it was finally Brit's time to shine. He'd opened a very good hand. Well, as good as an Ojama Elemental Hero deck hand could be.
Okay.
And proceeded to start making plays. He managed to send an Ojama Magic to the graveyard, which searched his deck for an Ojama Green, Ojama Yellow, and an Ojama Black.
Epic.
The perfect materials for his deck's ace boss monster. But just before he could summon it, across the room behind him, Brit heard the door to the venue open. Now, at the time, he didn't really think anything of it, as, well, he's in a card shop, so it's kind of to be expected that people would come and go regularly, so he ignored it and continued his turn. He activated Polymerization, sending all
he's
three Ojama
playing
monsters to
Natty
the graveyard
Poly.
in order to summon Ojama King, a giant egg-shaped boss monster with a whopping 3,000 defense that prevents the opponent from using 3 of their zones. He proceeded to slam the boss monster on the field. Feeling pretty pleased with
Cash zero
himself
players
and
in
not really having
shambles.
much else to do with his turn, Brit raised his head up from the field and exclaimed, "Alright, I'm done. It's your turn." Brit noticed something weird. His opponent wasn't looking at the field, or looking at him. He seemed to just be staring directly over Brit's shoulder. That's when Brit noticed that the rest of the room was awfully quiet, and as he looked around, he noticed everybody was staring in the same direction, towards the door. Huh, that's a bit odd. So
It's Ojama King in person. It's the guy himself. he visited the local shop. He summoned him in real life. That's the only explanation.
So Britt swiveled his chair to see what on earth everybody was staring at. Standing in the doorway were 2 police officers, dressed in full uniform.
Sir, you are the first person in the last 10 years who has summoned Ojama King. We're going to have to see some identification. Come with us. You starts getting his rights read to him, you know?
With their heads slowly moving from one side to the other, scanning the room. A few moments of silence go by before one of the officers stopped their scan, their head now facing directly in Britt's direction. Britt started to sweat.
There he is.
The officer gently tapped their partner before pointing directly towards Britt. The sweating intensified. Both officers slowly approached the table, getting closer and closer and closer, before finally walking straight past Britt and stopping directly in front of his opponent, whose face was now looking incredibly pale. Sir, are you... His opponent just stayed silent and didn't respond to the officer's question, and at that point, looked like he was just about to pass out where he sat. Sir, I'm going to...
This is a really serious situation. This is genuinely a super, super, like, high tension, like, very serious issue. So does the Ojama player get the win, theoretically, if he gets arrested? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but in policy, you know, if my opponent is arrested, you know, like, is that a game loss? Like, do we, like, you know, it's kind of important. You know, it's just for the sanctity of the tournament. I just want to know, you know, I don't want to be that guy. I'm not trying to shark and say, Judge, my opponent's been arrested. I deserve the win, but I just, you know,
I have to ask you to put your hands behind your head and come with us outside. Apparently, Britt's opponent had been on the run, currently under investigation for being part of a grooming gang. He'd been hiding from the police for quite some time, but for...
How are you hiding from the police and on the run and you find the time to enter a local?
God knows what reason, this genius...
And he's an Earthbound player?
Had decided to leave his hiding place in order to attend a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament at a card shop he'd probably been to several times before.
He just needed his Earthbound fix, man.
The police, and then rocking up. The police slowly escorted this incredibly pale-faced man, who looked like he might have already died, across the room, through the door, and out onto the street, leaving Britt sitting at the table, now looking incredibly dazed and confused by the events that just occurred before him.
Finally, the first Ojama win.
A few moments later,
it only required an arrest
and picked up the match slip. Alright, well, I'm going to guess he's probably not coming back. And so he signed off Britt as the winner. And so that is the story.
Wait, did he sign it before getting arrested? Wait, is that what he said?
To Britt's table and picked up events that just occurred before him. A few moments later, one of the judges walked on over to Britt's table and picked up the match slip.
Oh, okay.
Alright, well, I'm going to guess he's probably not
Locals has match slips.
And so he signed off Britt as the winner. And
this is definitely just in America, right?
An elemental hero Ojama deck managed to defy all odds and actually win a tournament match. Now, as for what happened after that, or what ended up happening to the opponent,
whole match.
I unfortunately just don't have a clue, as Britt never mentioned anything in his
reverse
original
sweep.
comment. But if Britt doesn't happen to see this and wants to post an update for us,
oh no, it must be
feel
the
free to write it down
UK.
in the comments below.
It's
If
from
I see
a
it,
Brit
I'll put it.
Gaming.
Thank you so much, Britt, for posting your story in the comment section of one of my previous story videos. And as per usual, if you too have a story from your time playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And would like to have it recreated in this series, feel free to write it down in the comments below. Just make sure to leave enough context and detail so I can turn it into a full video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to see more stories just like this one, I've created a full story playlist of this series.
Oh, go subscribe to Loom.